is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Emeryville authorizing the issuance of a cabaret permit to Linen Life Park Avenue.
Move approval.
Chief James.
Mayor Davis, members of council, before you tonight is the annual renewal of the cabaret permit that was issued to Linen Life on Park Avenue. Linen Life is run by Mr. Darrell Robinson, or owned and operated by Mr. Darrell Robinson, his wife Judith Ong Robinson. It is mainly a venue for storytelling, book readings, poetry, modern dance, and classical and jazz music. Tickets are pre-sold for events. No, there's no tickets sold at the door for any event. I believe this is the third or fourth year that the permit's been issued to Linen Life. The police department has found nothing that would justify the denial of the permit, and we are recommending that the public hearing be opened, and if so, it's council's pleasure to approve the resolution issuing the permit.
The public hearing is now open. Anybody from the public like to come forward? Oh, okay. Okay. Haven't seen you for a long time.
See here, right.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Davis and council members. I am Benjamin Yee. I live across the street at 1364 Park Avenue. I've lived there for 23 years, and my family once owned, or we still own the ranch house property across the street, which we lease as the Can't Fail Cafe. I do have one complaint about Mr. Robinson's proposal, and that is they don't adhere to the noise. I guess there's an ordinance that all noise has to come down to a habitable level at 10 o'clock. And I've called several times because every once in a while they have parties there with a DJ, and you could just hear the thump of the bass right through my walls. My bedroom is right above my garage, and I get up. I'm an early riser. I get up between 5 and 6 in the morning, and I tend to go to bed about 9. And I put up with the noise until 10, and then I call the police because it's just not fair to me. And then I walk my dog in the morning, and after one of these loud parties, I notice quite a lot of litter. Next door, they park next door at Paul Ledoux. I found Taco Bell bags, broken bottles of liquor, cans of beer, KFC bags, and I've personally picked up this stuff myself. I wheel my garbage can and my broom, and I just pick it up. I pick up the bottles and cans, and I put in the recycle bin. But it's the noise factor that bothers me the most. Parking, that's the way it is. And I'm sure when the new condominiums across the street come online, they'll have similar complaints as mine. I spoke with Brian Donahue earlier in the week, and he concurs with my feelings. He had to attend his brother's birthday party, and also the tenants that I have living in my property. Carl Coletti, he's sick tonight, and Rachel and Amico both have classes. But my concern is the noise, and secondary, the litter problem.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you sign in?
If I can make a comment.
Yes, Councilmember Bukowski.
Yeah, I want to make a comment. When I had my nightclub, I had my janitors go out and clean up all the litter in the neighborhood. It's just a byproduct of having a night spot, and it's just something you may want to give your attention to, because it's going to be out there, and people are going to complain about it. So you really got to get your people out there to pick up the litter in the street that the people attending your place leave.
Should we close it?
Otherwise, I think you have a fine place.
Well,
I mean,
the public hearing is still open. Public hearing's still open.
yeah. Actually, you closed it, but all right.
We have spoken to the gentleman who just spoke, and we don't serve KFC, and we don't serve beer in cans. We don't serve anything that anybody could leave the building with. That wouldn't be our trash. The neighborhood is active with people coming in and out of the area to Can't Fail Cafe. In fact, we have had many events, from Paul Leduc's events to the chef and cook at the Can't Fail Cafe is getting married there. we were concerned about the neighborhood, and we do send people out to clean up the street. We also walk every woman to their car. We've had 474 events there since we were approved, and we've had one police call sent by the gentleman here for noise, and we turned the music down when they arrived. So the police are at our place on a regular basis. They drive by. We wave to them. We know them all by name. We intended to provide exactly what we promised 4 years ago, which was a very comfortable place used by the City Council, used by the Emeryville School District, used by Berkeley, used by Oakland. The mayor, Ron Dillums, has been there. We've had Alice Walker, who wrote The Color Purple, there. I can go down a list of celebrities, but our main clients are just people from the community. They just like the space. So most of our events are not, we don't promote the space just for large concerts or loud parties. However, people do like music, and they have music, and they have DJs, and they have bands. And so our goal would be to take this information that we received tonight. Was the first. I haven't received any written information that we've caused any noise for any neighbor, nor that there's been trash across the street, nor have any neighbors complained to me directly. So now that I have this information, we would watch out for his property across the street, look for bottles and cups and cans, and we know all of our neighbors, and we talk to them regularly.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Bob, you're
Thank
from
you,
the public.
Mayor Davis, council members. Good evening. Bob Cantor, President and CEO of the Emeryville Chamber of Commerce. I've known Darrell since he opened his business, first way up on Hollis Street. He was at 65th and Hollis when he first opened, moved to Park, member of the chamber. The place is impeccable. I hope some of you have been there. In fact, there was a council member during the election, a session there. Many, many nice events there. It's a beautiful place. I would recommend approval. And we're doing an event there. Our business mixer in April is being hosted by the Linen Life Forest. They've been a member of the chamber since their reception. I'd urge approval of the Caberet license. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public to speak? The public hearing is closed. Ken, I have a question for you. You say you haven't received any complaints, and yet Ben says he's called with a
Any
noise
significant
complaint.
complaints? We have had noise complaints, and I believe that we've had more than one, but we have received complete cooperation when we've gone out to mitigate those complaints.
Well, I consider noise complaints to be significant, and I'd be curious how many noise complaints there have been. And the problem I see is that it's not enough to say, well, as soon as there's a complaint, the problem is mitigated, because a lot of people may not want to complain. May they be discouraged from complaining. I don't know. It's just, if there's one noise complaint, it's already too many. How many complaints? Do you have any
Well-
idea?
I would say less than 5 over the year.
Over how many
Over the year.
in a year?
Well, there is one thing, Darrell, that you have to consider. When those condos open up across the street from you, the noise is going to be right in their face. So it's something, as Councilmember Ricky said, one noise complaint is too many. We really want to keep the neighborhoods quiet after 10 o'clock at night, which is one of the problems with mixed use.
Understood. And
I
we-
don't
and
know
remember
how
that.
you can do it, but we've got to get a handle on
Well,
it. and I
we
agree
do
with
it by
John.
keeping the music minimally amplified. We call in quality sound men like Third Ear and people who have worked in the community like Inertia Entertainment. And out of 475 events, you've had 5 complaints from the same gentleman. I believe that, he does live across the street from us. We do have condos opening up. But again, our main focus is not loud music that would be heard down the street. However, when you have a birthday party, there are DJs that come by. What we will do is probably just take the lead from Sergeant Dio Televi and the other officers that come by, who are Brian Head and the other officers that watch us on a regular basis. They've given us sort of a decibel level that they feel is comfortable, and we turn it down to that level. We actually reduce the sound. We counsel with the DJs when they come in. We keep it at a minimum. And that way, we hope that we were following and complying with what we promised when we opened
Well,
on
the
Hollis.
council takes it very seriously. And Councilmember Bukowski's suggestion is a good one.
Yes.
Doesn't hurt to go around the neighborhood after everything is over and clean up
That
a
is
little.
that is a plan. However, we don't clean the entire street of Park Avenue. We clean on every corner, and anything that came from our venue is certainly picked up. But while they're out there with the bag, they do pick up. However, I wouldn't consider a KFC bag to be a Linen Life problem. However, if it's there in front of us, we will pick it up. The streets are cleaned. We don't serve Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I know, but your
Yeah.
customers bring it with them, and then they eat it, and then they go in your place.
But they do not. They
Okay,
do not.
we understand.
Yes.
We have a potential problem here and a real problem.
Right.
And we appreciate the fact
Understood.
that you run a
Yes.
good business.
Yes.
But, yeah,
Daryl, would you
Yes.
consider, as your business grows and your customer base kind of strengthens, would you consider making more investments in the building itself in the form of installing some sound-absorbing materials?
Sure, we've discussed that. You all know Roger Bash very well, and Roger and I talk weekly. We've discussed all types of alternative music. That's why we minimize the amplification of music in our space. And also, we chose the corner of the building on Hollis. On Park Avenue and Harlan, so the music would face in the building, face toward these two walls that are inside from Clearcom, I think it is, and the other is from the muffler shop next door. So the music is internalized and minimizes some of that sound.
My point, sometimes with kind of these exposed roofs that from the industrial buildings is that, and I experienced this personally with where I used to live, but with exposed roofing, sometimes the sound actually seems to become amplified because it's bouncing off of things without getting absorbed. And maybe with some strategic locations of sound-absorbing materials, you just even minimize that effect inside so it doesn't travel outside.
I'll certainly talk to Roger about that. Roger did inform me
Roger's
that
a
he...
good one to talk to.
Yes, and he also said that he insulated above the wood in the building, which is why the acoustics is so nice. We have a single piano in the space, and that's not amplified. In most cases, we don't use amplification. But I do understand the complaint as it was announced here today, and we'll do what we can to keep that at a minimum. We do take it seriously, and we also would like to have no complaints from the community. We're very happy about the
We
fact
would
that we...
appreciate that.
Yes, I'd like that too.
Thank you.
May-
Do I
Mayor-
hear a motion on the
Mayor, could I just-
resolution?
I have some additional questions.
Oh.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Charlie, what are the conditions of approval say about the use? I mean, what is the ability for this use to have late-night parties? What is,
I'm not really prepared to answer that. I don't have the conditions in front of me.
okay, so the Caberet license simply
I don't
allows
recall.
for live music, is that correct?
No,
Well-
it also regulates the hours, and the conditions of approval talk about no operations between 2 a.m. in the morning and 8 a.m. If the alcohol beverages are sold, alcohol must be, the serving of alcohol must stop at 1:30, and the doors close at 2. No patrons are permitted after 1 a.m.
And during
So
the
that
week,
extends
during the
the
week, it's also
hours.
lower. So-
The Cabaret license extends the hours from what they are currently.
No.
No,
No, they-
allows for live music. We have a motion on the floor. Councilmember Cassis.
Daryl,
Yes.
can I ask, does it sometimes happen that the doors out to Park get open as it get warm in there? And, I mean, I'm just wondering if some of your...
No, Roger put a state-of-the-art system inside for controlling the temperature by zone. So even if it's a small group, we can control one zone. Also, the sound, the one day that the police officers actually entered our space and said that they think it's a little bit loud, the doors were open in the parking lot. Then we closed the doors. They stood there for a minute and said, it's fine. They drove away.
Yeah.
And we are very compliant with the police department. They know us very well. We know all the officers, as I said, and they have often given us, they will come by and give us a high sign, say everything's fine. They drive up and down near the construction. We're often there late, so we've been actually watching the building next door as they've been building it and helping
Right.
with security there late at night.
Well, I think you can tell from all of us, this noise is a concern, and
Yes.
as we go down the road, it's going to become more of one. But on the positive side, I just want to say that you're exactly the kind of operator that we hope to get into the Park Avenue area. I think you've brought a lot of life, a lot of class, a lot of style to the street, and I really appreciate the work that you guys do and all the interaction with the community that you do, from the schools to the city. It's outstanding.
Thank you so much. And I'd like to just close by saying we are going to get further and further away from live bands or loud music and go more to a jazz feel. The jazz hosted art reception is what we push, which is a quiet, peaceful,
Right.
you can talk over the music kind of operation. So maybe these complaints will be reduced greatly.
Great. We have a
What-
resolution,
I
and
I have additional question. When are the condos going to be occupied?
I think it's about a year away. I don't really know the exact
Project's been in the
schedule.
work for 3 years, right?
Oh, more than that. Maybe less than a year.
we have a resolution and a second. Mr. Biddle.
Just a correction on condition number 11. It says that the permit is valid until December 31, 2006, and that should read 2007.
Thank you, Mr. Biddle. Without exception, the resolution is passed.
You want a roll
I'd
call?
like to
Yeah,
make
roll
a
call.
comment.
Not on
and
a
that is,
resolution.
No, okay.
On a public hearing
If there are
item.
more noise complaints, I'm not going to be interested in renewing the permit next year. Now, this is not to say that if you get one complaint, you're going to lose my support, but noise, where there are complaints about noise, my presumption is that they're valid complaints. And the reason is I think that the residential use should take precedence over a commercial use. And so that's my bias. And maybe it's because I'm a light sleeper, I don't know. But, it's the noise issues. We live in a very dense place. And the way to make us all live together in a dense place is to try and regulate things like noise. And so that's of paramount concern to me.
I appreciate that. We're a building we're an interior operation. However, on the corner of Canfield Cafe, the people are often loud and open until 11 o'clock at night, and they're laughing and outside. But that happens to be the tenant of the gentleman that's complaining. So they're not going to get a complaint from that person, or not going to represent it. But our goal is to make sure that that everyone has a good time, that we keep the noise down, that we do what we promise to do, and we still provide a nice community space for people to have a nice private event for families and parties. So I appreciate what you said, and we'll do our best to keep it down. I just would like to remind you that when you gather 200 people together, they have a tendency to make a little bit of noise, but we are quiet in how we get them to their cars and how we exit. I think that he's had complaints from that. He mentioned only music, not the crowd of people leaving or how they leave. We're very careful in how they get to their cars, how they get in the space, and we do weddings and we do bereavement things. We do all types of family-related events. So I'll just focus on the noise, keeping it down, and that's the best I can do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Better call the roll, Karen.
Excuse me, who seconded that? I think I heard.
I did.
Thank you. Councilmember Bukowski.
Aye.
Councilmember Fricke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cassis. Vice Mayor Atkin.
Aye.
Mayor Davis.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Daryl,
Good to see you.
I just want to second Councilmember Cassis's comments about the quality of the events that you hold, and you're a class act, so I just want to second that
Thank you.
sentiment.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.